Well, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations, and this is our next project. I picked this little two-tiered table up, just super cute, great detailing. I got it from the thrift store, so 10 bucks, not a bad deal. And I thought that we could maybe try and do something a little bit fun with it. But the first step is that I want to see, I want to sand down the top and see if I can get down to kind of natural wood, see what it looks like underneath the varnish, because it's kind of really old and kind of icky. But if so, then I will sand down all of this and leave it natural, and the flat shelf down there and leave it natural, so that we'd only be painting the trim and the legs. But I got to do some sanding to be able to find out. So I have my orbital sander. I've got a 60 grit sandpaper, so because I want to get it down, and then if it looks good, I will use a higher number, which is a less coarse, so I'll go finer to smooth it out. But yeah, I'm going to start doing the basics first. I'm going to do it off camera because you don't want to listen to that. And then once I see what I've got, I'll come back and we'll make some decisions about where we're going from there. The tabletop sanded out just fine, but I decided to try a little bit of bleach to see if I could lighten the wood up a little bit more. So all I took was I poured a little bit of bleach, the normal Clorox stuff that you maybe do in your whites or your wash, and a sponge tip brush, and I just brushed it over the tabletop and that base, so all of those sanded areas, and left it to dry. And I did that 2 times, 3 times over the course of the remainder of the day, just to see if I could get it to lighten up. Doing this and leaving it in the sun is a bit more of a guarantee that you're going to get it lightened, but it was a rainy, overcast day today, so all I had going for me was putting it on. This is the table after the bleaching, and so it is lighter, which is just perfect. Here's what I'm thinking. I want to put transfers onto it. I want to put some floral transfers onto this layer and the layer below, and I'm going to try putting them onto the bare wood rather than sealing, because I'm not sure exactly how I want to seal it. I may do it just clear, but I may want to do like a white oil wax over it. So I'd like to have that drifting over the transfers and have it soak into the wood. So we'll see. Now, I know the transfers stick really easily to glass, to sealed surfaces, to metals. We're going to see how they stick to raw wood. So if they don't, then I'll seal it and do it. So, you know, sometimes you just have to try it out, see how it goes. What I do have in the shop is I still have some of the old tubes of the Japonica transfer, and it's got a couple of Asian women, which is not going to work for this project, but it does have a bunch of, let me just kind of show you. So the Asian women here, it does have a bunch of flower stems that are very light, and that's what I want. I don't want something heavy like big roses or that sort of thing. So very light, soft colors. It has a bunch of the black and white across there, which probably isn't what I'm going to be using. So my first job really is to just take the time, there's my little stick, to cut this apart. So I'm going to take a look at cutting around these edges so I don't have the black and white, and kind of deciding how and where I'm going to put some of the florals. So, and then I'm saving my little Japanese women for something else. I can see if I get a really nice kind of slightly Asian looking or styled dresser. I could see these women being awesome in the inset on some of the cabinet doors or things like that. So I'm gonna save them for another project. We'll see how that goes, but I'm gonna get these cut apart and then sort of lay them out roughly on the tables where I want them. And then we'll come back together as I see how they go onto raw wood. So I'll experiment with you. Right, I've got kind of a rough layout and a bit of a plan, and really it comes down to just going for it. So let's do that. I want to leave a bit of space and take this right to the side. Okay. Okay, I think I have most of it. Let's see how this goes. Little piece here. I love the look of these soft colored transfers on that raw wood. Now when we go to seal this wood, it's going to darken, so this will pop a little bit more, but you know, I really wanted to show you, you don't always have to do this on painted surfaces, right? So the only other thing I like to do is I like to take this base and just kind of rub the whole transfer down, just kind of burnish it in, make sure that none of it is lifting up. Oh gosh, I love that. Okay, now I have another little piece or two that I was debating adding in. I did this. Yeah, I'm probably not going to want to make it go up too high, or I could add this one in. I think this one would be enough. Okay, so I'm going to finish putting my transfers on the top and on there, and I waited to pick like a color until I saw this on here to paint the rest. So I'm going to take a look and do some thinking on which way I want it to go, and yeah, then I'll come back at you, but it's pretty nice, isn't it? All right, next phase of our project. I haven't sealed this yet because I'm waiting to see what the paint looks like on it and then decide whether I want to do a bit of a whitewash, if I want to leave it just natural. So I didn't do that. I've taped it off so that I can paint without interfering with it. But because it's not sealed, I made sure to put paper down like on the bottom so that I'm taping over the paper, not taping over my transfers. That tape would likely peel them up because they haven't been sealed yet. So the paper serves the double purpose of preventing me from getting paint drips on it since it's not sealed, and I don't want the paint staining the wood. And it also is protecting my transfers from the tape. Now, colors. So I have shown you guys before that very often what I do when I'm trying to come up with a different color is I just take a piece of acetate, so clear plastic, right? You could do it with saran wrap, lay it over top of white, and then add your just fingerfuls of your paint, right? So what I came up with is this. I love the color Apothecary, which is this color here, and I think it would look great with this, but I just wanted something a tiny bit brighter. So this is cake batter, and these are both colors from the DIY paint line, which I sell here in the shop, queenbeecreationshome.com. And 50-50 blend. At first I started it with 2 parts of the apothecary and 1 part of the cake batter, but I ended up doing 50-50 to come up with kind of this softer green. And I hope that you can see that it's just a little bit brighter than this. And that's what I was looking for, something that just looked a little bit lighter, a little bit fresher looking. I mean, I love apothecary, but I just wanted it a little bit more yellowed, I guess. And don't be afraid to do that. And this is a great way to play with it because you're not wasting your paint. It's just finger dabs, and I mean, you end up with all your fingers covered with paint, but hey, that's okay. So I am going to mix up now, because I don't want to get my paint all over. I am going to mix up my paint, and I'm just putting it off into a Tupperware container. And it is not particularly stressful. 3, 4. That should probably be good. Put this down. Add in my cake batter so you can see that this is just like a nice light pale green. This is a fairly subdued yellow, right? Cake batter is not like a bright sunshine yellow. It's not like the Queen Bee, which is more like a golden yellow. So it's a little bit softer to begin with. And you can see that as much as I said, oh, it's a 50-50 blend. I mean, it's just, okay, four semi-heaped spoonfuls of each. So it's not an exact science, which means if I don't mix up enough paint and I had to mix up another batch, then I would just need to mix up enough that would paint an entire second coat or third coat. What I couldn't do is mix up a batch and expect that I could just do one leg and it's going to match all the other legs. I would have to paint all of the legs perhaps. So, because I'm never going to get it an exact match, right? I don't have a machine like they have in the paint store that is mixing it up. So that's the color we've got, and that's what I was after. You know, you could have gone into the pink tones with this because of, you know, the pink flowers. You could have gone into like that soft pink, petticoat pink, and DIY would have been nice. But I wanted to go into something, it was still neutral, but just a little bit brighter than I would have had with the apothecary. Oh yes. And we will do some distressing with this after. So my job now is to get 2 coats of this on and let it dry thoroughly, and then I'll come back at you. And then we can start talking about, do a little distressing, and then talk about the sealing, and especially making some decisions once we've got this paint on about what exactly we want to seal the top with. I'd originally thought maybe with a bit of a whitewash, but now I'm kind of thinking I might like the contrast of just the wood with the green would be pretty, so we'll see. We've got our 2 coats of paint on, so now we want to take off all of our tape and our paper so that we can sand the piece. Now I want to do a little bit of distressing on this piece, nothing major, but I do want to kind of highlight some of the details down here. So I am going to use a 320 grit sandpaper to be able to do that a little bit. I will probably sand over this a bit too and just get this looking just a little bit more weathered looking as well, so that it doesn't look perfect. The other side is that with chalk paints and the clay-based paint, I like to lightly sand them anyway, whether I'm distressing or not, just to be able to take off kind of a little bit of the highs of the paint. So it's kind of like, almost like microscopically, it's got little rough edges, and just lightly sanding it smooths all that out and makes it just beautifully buttery soft. I love the texture that it gives. So I'm gonna get all this off. And you can see already, I love this color. This color's perfect. Now it'll deepen a little bit when we go to seal it. So just know, I mean, DIY paint, as soon as, always kind of dries lighter until we get the sealer on there. But so cute. I love this. Okay, so cute. So what I do have, I have some 320 grit sandpaper that I am going to wrap around this old sanding block. Just makes it a little bit easier. And I do have a sanding pad, which just makes kind of doing that quick light sand on curved surfaces so much easier as well. And I'm gonna get this sanded, distressed, and then wiped down so that when I go to seal it, I'm not sealing in any more of those dust particles. So just gonna get some light sanding happening, and then we'll be ready to seal. Moment of truth time. So what I have, just a clean chip brush, and I have my top coat. So this is Big Top from DIY in a little cup, only so that I don't keep dipping back into my top coat and discoloring it for future use. So I'm just going to be lightly adding my top coat to this, and I thought it'd be most exciting to see those details pop. So you can see that wood color. And you could have waxed the piece, but because I put the transfers onto a tabletop, and not just maybe the front of a dresser or something, I thought that it would maybe get a little bit more use. So I wanted something that was just a little bit more durable. So there's people were putting, you know, plates or cups or a lamp or something on top that they're not going to be as easily scratching those transfers off the top. But you can see already that depth of color in that wood just coming out and kind of popping those designs. So I'm loving this. Okay, so I am going to get the rest of this covered in my top coat. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll come back at you to be able to check it out together. Okay, I wanted to do it's a different angle, but I wanted to be able to show you all of our little table, and I gotta tell you, I love how this turned out. That green is just kind of that perfect sort of color. It's just a little bit more vibrant than the Apothecary is on its own. I love Apothecary, but I wanted it to kind of be a little bit more of a contrast to the natural wood. I love having left this wood natural with those transfers on it. I know that we usually do them over painted surfaces, but I wanted to show you, you could definitely do them on wood, and they went onto raw wood like a dream. This is so cute. I love this little table. So Couple of things that I just wanted to kind of point out is this contrast of the wood and the natural look with the transfers. It really is lovely. You could do the same thing with a paint inlay. You would just put your top coat, your clear seal on, and then do the paint inlay over the wood so you can get this same look with some of the inlay components. But again, another paint blend mix for you guys to add into your repertoire. This was 50-50 mix between cake batter and apothecary, and it just gives that slightly yellow tint to it. It just brightens up the apothecary a little bit. So hope you give that one a try too. As always, let me know what you think. Love to hear from you guys. And I just look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, take care.